Hey there, it's Rob Knight, and I am back with another Tenba camera bag review. Now today I'm going to be looking at the AXIS 24L V2, right? So it's the second version of the AXIS 24L backpack. I actually have a video that I did years ago with the first version of the 24L AXIS backpack, and I love it. And I've dragged that backpack all over the place. In fact, it's right here. So I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the version 2 with the original. But I want to get something out of the way first. I do work with Tenba. I'm one of their ambassadors, and they send me these bags to try and do these reviews. That said, I don't ever pull a bag out of the box and do a review of it. Right? So this bag in particular, I wasn't ready to do this review until I took it to Costa Rica for a week and led a photo workshop and dragged all my stuff around with it. So I can really get a feel for what it does and how the bag works. I have a couple of the other version 2 AXIS bags that I'll be reviewing soon, so keep an eye out for those. But I wanted to talk about the big boy first because I have the version 1 that I can compare it to. The differences with the V2 over the V1 are a lot more than I realized at first. And it's a lot of things that make these bags, to me, more usable. I think it's obvious that that Tenba took feedback from the first version of the bag, and they made some pretty substantial design changes that aren't as apparent at first. So starting with the way the straps are attached. Now, I've always loved the AXIS bag because the straps are on the back of the bag where the bag opens. So that just means when you put the bag down and you're going to get into it, if you're out in nature, right, or you're in the dirt and the mud, well, your straps aren't sitting in the mud. I love that. I've always thought that's the better way to go for backpacks, and I like that immediately about the AXIS line. The other thing is if you're traveling, then it's almost impossible for anybody to get into this bag while you're wearing it because the big main compartment zipper is actually against your back, right? So the big change on this side of the bag over the version 1 is where the straps are attached. Okay, this is the V1, and you can see the straps are actually attached to the flap that opens. Okay, so I actually had a question on my first review video of the 24L about how that would put a lot of strain on the zipper and wouldn't the bag just break and fall open. And I can tell you from literally years of using this bag, that just never happened. I've never seen any signs of wear on the zipper. It's never just fallen open or anything like that. So it really hasn't been an issue as far as using the bag. But not having the straps on the flap just makes the whole thing easier to deal with. So that when I open it, I'm not moving the straps all over the place. It gives a little bit of extra sort of cover at the top. So you can't just throw everything into this big gaping hole in the back of the bag, but it's really easy just to tuck things in there. And I haven't noticed it, certainly haven't noticed it being a problem. And if anything, I like it better because of the way that you're able to access the bag without having to get around the straps. This brings me to another pretty substantial design change that I didn't realize at first, and that's where the laptop compartment is. So if we look at the version 1 here, the laptop compartment is actually inside of the main camera compartment. So the laptop goes here, okay, and so it sits against all of your gear, and it also fits against your back. I never really liked that. So if I put my 15-inch MacBook Pro in here, I've basically got this rigid aluminum piece that goes between me and the backpack. So the backpack can't really conform to my back at all, and it makes it a little less comfortable to wear. So, cue the version 2. The computer pouch is now on the outside. Right, so against my back, all I've got is this nice padding. I've got my camera gear that can kind of move around a little bit and form to my back. And the computer pouch actually has this really cool weather-sealed zipper that I felt very secure about. I wouldn't be worried about having it out in the rain. I would imagine that's probably the reason they had the computer pouch on the inside of the original bag, just to keep it out of the elements. But I think this does a good job. It's easy to get to. It doesn't open all the way, which I think is kind of interesting. It opens just on two sides, so that if you have heavy things or anything in these pouches on the outside of the bag, they're not going to just fall out. Another change in the version 2 over the version 1 is this top flap. Now this is one of the 3 ways that you can get into this AXIS 24L bag, and it's the top. Well, this piece is very rigid on the new version 2 bag. It's padded on the inside, it's nice and rigid, so if anything were to hit the bag, it's certainly going to protect your equipment, versus the original just has kind of a soft foam lid that doesn't, I mean, of course it offers a little protection, but it doesn't have that kind of hard shell that the V2 has. The similarities with the version 1 and the version 2 are huge, because we have this side access zipper, so that I don't have to take the bag all the way off, open it all the way up to get a camera out. I can put a camera and a lens right here and easily access that. You can see the MOLLE webbing all over the bag, so if you wanted to add extra pouches, you can, I mean, look on Amazon for MOLLE pouch, and you can get a pouch of almost any size if you wanted to make this into a day pack and get something big to put your jacket and your snacks in, or if you wanted a smaller one to put an extra lens in. Tenba also makes lens carriers that would go right on these MOLLE pouches, and that works great. It's just like the version 1. The interior storage on the outside, very similar to the version 1. You've got pockets in here for whatever accessories you might want to put in there, documents, that kind of stuff. Now, in order to carry a tripod in the 24L bag, there's a zipper here with a pouch that comes out. And so you can put the foot of your tripod here and use these straps to hold the tripod against the back of the bag. That works great. These straps are also removable. You can adjust them, you can move them around however you like. On the side of the bag here is an expandable pocket. It's great for water bottles. You could put a flash in here. You could put a gimbal, a handheld gimbal in here. I like to have these pockets when I'm going through the airport, because you know, when I'm going through security, I'll take my wallet and my keys and my phone, the things that I have to take out before I go through the metal detector. And I like to have a little pocket here. I could just slip it right in the bag and throw this one bag through, and I don't have all my personal stuff just hanging out in the box. I have my 24L bag set up for a camera and several lenses right now. I can put my camera with my 24 to 105 millimeter lens here. I can put an extra lens here, and this big section here I've got set up for the Sigma 60 to 600, which is a great big fat lens, and it fits in perfectly in this spot here. I didn't really find a good way that I could keep that lens on the camera and stick it in the bag and still have just efficient use of the rest of the space. So I carry it like this. Generally, if I'm going to have the 60 to 600 on the camera, it's going to be in my hand. I'm going to be shooting it. This is more my transportation bag. Sometimes if I'm carrying this bag when I'm in the field, maybe I've got the big lens on the camera. Maybe I'll put my infrared camera here so I can access it through the little side pocket here. The pocket on the lid here is plenty big enough for an LED light, which I'm using right now, some other small accessories, and that kind of thing. Now, one place that Tenba has made another improvement over the version 1 in this new 24L bag is in the dividers themselves. Now, we're used to these blue dividers. Tenba's been using these for a long time. It's closed cell foam wrapped in soft material, and you can adjust these and put them wherever you like. These we've had, right? We've also had these really flexible, basically what I would consider the main dividers. This is how we get the bag set up for the main compartments, right? And you can see I'm still using one here, and one here. These are all the same. It's pretty neat how they have the little flap on the top. So that way, if I get into the top of the bag, then let's see if I can show you that. Then I can just pull that little tab and I can open up that section and get into whatever lens that I have stored in here. And what Tenba has added with the version 2 of the AXIS bags are these stiffer, smaller dividers. So they're the same size as the blue, softer dividers, but if you have the bag separated into bigger sections, and you can use these to keep the rigidity of the bag so it doesn't get floppy. If you have a big lens, for example, and you have so part of the bag is just not supported with anything. Well, I've got these stiffer dividers that hold the bigger dividers in place and keep the bag nice and rigid. The other obvious change with the version 2 is the availability of the multicam black colorway, which let's face it, it's just really cool. It's not camouflaged for anything. It just looks cool, and it gives you a little bit of a little different look than just having a plain old black bag, which I appreciate. So in fact, all of my Axis V2 bags are in this multicam black. I just think it's cool because they all match, and I think it looks neat. Well, thanks so much for watching. This is the first of 3 videos that I have coming up about the Tenba AXIS version 2. The 24L is probably the bag that I use the most, but I've definitely found uses for the other 2 smaller bags that I've been reviewing as well. And just like this one, I've been dragging the other 2 around and really putting them to use to figure out how I might use them. In my opinion, that makes a better review. It's not just something I pulled out of the box and looked at. So I'll tell you how I've used those 2 bags and what you might get out of those as well. If you're interested in picking up one of these bags, I do have a coupon code. You can find it in the description below, and it'll save you 10% if you order directly from Tenba. Or you can, by all means, please support your local camera shop, and I'll see you next time.